What's up, Calgary? How are you doing? This is my fourth day here at the BAM Center for Art and Creativity, and I've been exposed to some amazing knowledge, through the Cultural Leadership Pilot Program. And I'm going to be bringing someone, doctor, from a scholar from an indigenous community who has been giving us some nuggets, about this thing called wise practices versus best practices. But before then, let me show you my scenery of Banff. Now, these are amazing mountains. People go on hike. You can see this particular one. You can see the clouds are already on top of that, and this is the Kenya Center. And then you have Lohi Building. You have the Max Bell. All, and it's been an awesome time here, learning and amazing knowledge. So I'm going to bring in Dr. Cynthia Wesley-Esquimaux to talk about wise practices versus best practices. It's a new way of thinking, or higher way of thinking that is going to challenge some of the knowledge that you have, and it's going to be an awesome time, because I want her to give us a tip of the iceberg, and then possibly come March, I'm going to bring her on Mars City Speaks to Me, just to give you in-depth knowledge about best practices versus wise practices. And also, I just want to remind you about Ethnic Festival of Art and Culture 2025. The tickets are selling out very fast. And then one of the good news I want to share with you is that, for ticket buyers, you will be entered into a draw to win, some amazing cool gifts. For example, you have a return ticket to Las Vegas. You have 65 inches QELD Ultra Slim Samsung TV. You have iPod, you have sewing machine, and to top it all, we have courtesy of Village Ice Cream. They're giving single serve ice cream to the first 250 people to appear to get on to the venue at the Genesis Center. So there's a lot of goodies coming your way, like I do it on this show. Dome of a muscle stretch. So I'm going to be going into the Kenya Center now to talk to Dr. Cynthia. We'll be right back. Enjoy the view. Reaching now on channel 173.1 DT on People, Places and Events. Now, this is my fourth day in Banff, and I've been exposed to some new knowledge that is uncommon. And oftentimes I've heard about best practices, but I met an amazing academic, a scholar, an amazing woman from an indigenous community who has been giving us nuggets on what is wise practices, which is like a better way of thinking. And it's an honor to have her here, Dr. Cynthia Wesley-Esquimaux. I hope I pronounced.
Yeah, great.
Now,
good job.
Yeah, Dr. Cynthia, you've been talking to us for the past 2-3 days on the importance of wise practices versus best practices. Can you just give our audience, a summary? Because the good thing is that I want to bring you on my show in March to talk extensively, but give our audience a tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, so best practices, as you're much more familiar with, is something that we do when we say, well, this worked over here, and so I can take what worked over here and I can put it in this other place, and it's going to work as well or as effectively as it did in that other space. With wise practices are organic and begin right where you are and rise up and rise those around them up with it. So you can't take a wise practice and put it in another space and expect that it's going to do the same thing, because every space in the world, every people, every culture, every experience is generated right where they are. So with wise practices in the indigenous community, what we're doing with that concept is that we're saying, Why are we letting colonial practices and colonial policies rule our lives when, in fact, if we look at the space in which we've been generated as indigenous peoples, there's all kinds of traditions, knowledges, experiences that have been happening in this place for millennia, for thousands and thousands of years, that made it possible for our ancestors to live in a good way. And it's only since other people have been bringing best practices from someplace else to our place that we've begun to suffer. So we want to regenerate the wise practices in our territories and in our cultures, in our governments, and in our languages, and do it our way.
Now, talking in terms of generating wise practices, I'm going to have Dr. Cynthia come on My City Speaks to Me, to talk extensively about the importance of wise practices, against best practices. And I think this will be an eye-opener for a lot of individuals, community individuals, businesses, and then we'll take it up from there.
Because it also had, the other thing about wise practices is that we're talking not only from a process position, we're talking about a spiritual position as well. We're talking about transformation. We're talking about what makes people tick, what gives people passion, what gives people understanding and knowledge that they can take into next generations that's going to sustain them in a good way.
Amazing. You know what, if you want to hear more, just watch us from this space. Come March, I'm going to bring Dr. Cynthia for an hour live chat on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and then you'll learn, more about best practices versus wise practices.
Wise practices versus
or
best
wise
practices.
practices versus best practices. Thank you very much. Bye for now. We'll be right back.
Thank you.